there, everyone. Carla here again. This is so exciting. I get the chance to have a chat with Bindya today, and Bindya has just secured herself a role as a test analyst. So congratulations, Bindya.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your journey, because it is interesting being a mum and doing all this, doing a program, and there's a lot of things you juggle. But first off, just share with us a little bit about your background. Did you have any IT background? Just share with us a little bit about that. That would be really interesting.
No, I don't have any IT background. So I had a master's degree in business administration, with finance and systems as my specialization. And I started working as a finance officer for a few years in India. And when I came to New Zealand, I couldn't find any job in finance. So I was a new mum at the time, so I took whatever was available. So I was working in retail. I quite enjoyed doing the retail job. So I worked for 7 years. Then I had my second child. So I was working 2 part-time jobs at that time.
Wow.
So when I had my second child, I found it really hard. I thought I should let go one job and just keep the one that I was doing. So I used to work weekends, and then COVID came along like 2 years later.
Yes.
And then we were made redundant. So
Right.
in a way, it was a good thing for me because it made me think what I really wanted to do. So at that time, I didn't want to go back into retail because, one, it was too tiring, and with 2 young children, it wasn't really possible for me to work full-time retail job. So I thought, okay, I will take some time and think what I wanted to do. So I thought, I came across Industry Connect at that time, and then I had a few options. Like, one of it was testing. Someone told me, like, why don't you do ISTQB and get into testing, because testing jobs are really, a lot of them available, and why don't you?
Okay, that's interesting. So you're a friend actually suggested you look at it.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you know anything about what a tester did?
Absolutely no. So when I asked someone, they would just say, oh, it's just clicking buttons, and you just have to click buttons and see if it works. And everyone would give me the example of the login page and see if the login is working, and things like. It really didn't make sense to me, because why would someone pay you 100,000 for it's just clicking buttons? And then I said, okay, I'll do ISTQB and see what is it like. And then I did ISTQB, and it really didn't make sense to me because it was quite detailed, and the concept is really hard to understand because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what happens in the industry. So it was really hard to understand those concepts and remember them. So I was struggling at that time.
How long did you kind of like go down that line of ISTQB? How long did that take you? You're certified?
No, I'm still not certified.
Right.
But I think I tried for a year, like on and off, because I had a 2-year-old at that time, so to look after. So on and off, every now and then. It didn't make sense. So I would try for some time, then let it go, then come back again. So it wasn't helping. I wasn't getting there anywhere. So I decided, okay, I will do something else to make this work. And at that time, like, one of my family members' colleague was from Industry Connect, and they had found a job. And he told me that, like, this is something available for you. And then I started looking into the curriculum, and there were other things as well at that time. There were a few other organizations doing the same thing. One was software development, and Industry Connect had the the data analyst in testing and software development as well. And there was yet another one, which you had to be there for a few days, I think. It was something like that. So out of that, I think only Industry Connect actually worked for me, because, one, it was on Zoom, and the timings really worked for me. So
because those that are watching, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and in New Zealand, it's 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So the reason around that is that it gives people that are full-time workers, that are family oriented too, they've got families, they can fit it in. And as well as that, sometimes, you know, people can't make every single class just due to life sometimes, you know, or work. And then the classes are recorded as well. So you've got a chance to review as well. So that's how you came across Industry Connect. You had a friend that did one of our programs, you had a look at it, then you decided to jump into the Test Analyst Job Ready program.
Correct, yeah.
So how did you find the program, and doing it via Zoom live with your tutors and all the other participants? How did you find that? Was that a bit strange for you, or was it just like it was good, or what?
It worked for me because I have like 2 kids to look after, to go pick up and drop. So Zoom was perfect for me. I don't know if it would have been better if it was like on site. I'm not really sure. For me, it wouldn't have worked because, you know, you're constantly running around, and committing to go to a place would take you extra time. But Zoom was just perfect for me. It was at the time that worked for me.
And you get to ask questions with your tutors straight away, straight there.
Yes.
And I think the big thing, which I have heard from a lot of participants, is that when they, you know, sometimes you've got to go back to review something. But if you're in a classroom, like in a normal 4 walls, you have to take notes. Nothing's recorded. And this is so good because you get to understand a concept if you didn't quite get it during that stage or trying to remember. So it's different, but we get such great things because we've been doing it now for, goodness, coming up 5 years, 4 to 5 years,
right,
doing this way. So good to hear that it worked for you, being that mum too, being at home with your children still, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So it was definitely something that, I mean, I chose this program because it was on Zoom. If it was on site, I think I would have probably thought about it, because committing to that time to a place it's really hard, you know.
It is. Having to travel. Yes. Having to travel as well. Find a parking space and all that kind of stuff, you know, all those little things which add up to time.
Correct, yeah. Unless we have a sick child at home, it's like you can't leave them. So at that time, you probably can't attend the program. So all those things actually fitted well for me.
So how did you find the program itself and the tutors?
Very intense. For me, because I was not from a technical background, it took me a long time, I would say, to understand all the concepts. The tutors were great. I mean, when I go back and check those videos, every time I would say to myself, I said, can you please repeat this? Can you please repeat this? And I mean, they would definitely break it down for me because they knew that I wasn't from a technical background. So they would break it down, and they made us absolutely comfortable. I mean, never once I've ever felt bad about asking a question, or, you know, it was absolutely fantastic. They broke it down.
Because I've been in the industry for so long as well, and Bruno, who's one of the tutors, everyone, he's actually gone through our program, so he understands, you know, how to articulate and break it down so that people that are in different kind of areas of what they do know, that everyone's covered, so to speak. So that's really good to hear. Yeah. So tell us, with the program, obviously you came from non-technical background, and it would have been intense with that non-technical background.
Yes, yeah.
So how did you manage that, being able to, did you do it? I always say to people, you know, you need to do, you know, where your weaknesses are, so you need to do a little bit more homework, you know, just to level up, you know, and grasp the concepts. How did you manage that around your family and everything?
I think you just keep up to date every day. Like when you're doing the lessons, it's more like keeping it up to date, learning whatever they've taught you the previous day. and making sure you've done the homework that they ask you to do. And then when you're doing the internship, there's a lot of time for you to chew all those concepts and understand. So that's how I worked it around. So initially, when I did my 6 weeks program, I understood what they were doing, but not fully. So there was still certain things that I really didn't understand why they were doing. But I just constantly kept it up to date. Whatever they asked me to do, I just did whatever they asked me to do and finished my kind of homework, I would say. And then when like the internship happened, I always had the time to go back and have a look and kind of chew what they've told me. And then that made more sense at that time. Is what
you can start to see the whys behind implementation of what you've learned into a project.
Correct. Yeah.
In a bigger picture, eh? So on that subject, how did you find the transition from the 6-week job ready program over to the internship with MVP Studio?
It was such a deep learning curve for me, especially with after the 6-week program, I had a break of 5 weeks. So when I came back, I'd completely forgotten everything. Not forgotten in the sense totally forgotten, but I was kind of had to learn everything again right from the beginning. Had to go over all the videos again to make sense of what we were doing, and it was quite tough at that time. Like onboarding was like, oh, this is so hard, and then when you finished onboarding and you moved on to competition, you feel like, oh, onboarding is so easy. And then it's the same with advanced as well.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's just that first, I say it's the first hump you get over. Is that onboarding, just learning the technology stack, learning about the project, and just being able to do that first little thing. And then it kind of like you get into a rhythm. And it's so interesting. A lot of people do say that it gets easier, so to speak, even though you're leveling up different levels in the internship. So those that are watching, there's 3 levels at the internship, where it's onboarding, and then after that you go to standard tasks, or what they call competition tasks, and then from that you go to advanced tasks. So it just gets a little bit harder, but it stretches you in a good way to prepare you for the job market, because we want you to be prepared for the stretch, because even when you get a job, you're going to be learning how they work as well. So that's really cool to hear that you found it good after getting that first onboarding done.
Yeah.
What would you say were the highlights, Bindya, either in the program or the internship for you?
I think the way it is all set up, like onboarding, when you're starting, it's really hard, but actually it is easy. Like it's just the basic that you're covering, and then competition is slightly more advanced. You're kind of working with the team, plus all the sessions that you can go to, like the team way, the MVP, the learning skills, what is it called? Life skills. And then you have communication, tech chat, and leadership. All these things are amazing. And plus you get to do Scrum, where you get to meet other people who are at the same stage as you or slightly advanced. And if they have done something more, you could catch up with them and say, I'm struggling with this. How did you do this? And all these things. I think pretty much I've said everything about the internship. All these things were definitely helpful and are definitely the highlights, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic, Bindya. So, you came from non-technical background. So this was a big whoa change and everything. What would you say to someone that maybe is looking at this and is coming from that kind of background? I know it's a hard stretch and everything. What would you say to someone, or even that someone's a mum that's coming back into her career after, raising her children and everything? What would you say to them that are wanting to get back in their career, or someone that's wanting to start their career in an IT area like a test analyst?
Yeah, this program definitely gives you a picture of what happens in the real world and real IT world, and it also gives you a taste of it. It's a huge confidence booster, I think, from someone who used to call myself as a non-technical person. I can comfortably say I'm a technical person now. And
now you are, yes.
And I mean, when I did my interview, it was all about, I felt comfortable saying that I'm a software tester, and I think it is definitely gives you that belief in yourself that you can make that change. Definitely that.
Yeah. What would you say would be, what kind of mindset would you have to have if you're coming like yourself into something totally left field, like you've never done it before? What kind of mindset would you say a person needs to have?
You definitely need to have the urge to learn. I mean, you definitely want to make that move from what you're comfortable with to becoming totally uncomfortable and learning all those concepts, because you need to be willing to do a lot of work outside what is being taught. So yeah, definitely you should be someone who's willing to learn and be prepared to make that move.
Yeah, and I think that's across the board when you're in IT, because technologies are always changing.
True,
And if you think you know it all, next minute, like a week later, it's like something else could come. You don't know. So if you've got that learner's mindset and knowing that you are going to be a continual learner all your life in this, I think it's good in life actually to think that way, no matter what industry, but especially in the IT, where things are rapidly changing. I think that's a really good point. That's a great point to know, that to have that mindset of a learner and know that you'll have to just stretch yourself a bit.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Bindya, for sharing your journey and everything. We are so excited for you. And you start your job this week, Thursday.
Yeah, I do.
So that's a quick start and everything. So congratulations again, and all the best from all of us here at Industry Connect and the MVP Studio team.
Thank you so much, Carla. Thank you so much.
Thank you.